Hi everyone.
Welcome to today's
webinar,
Learning
Your Way Around Way to Go,
with
Deb Sachs and Mary Catherine Graziano. I'm Allegra Williams Motion. I'm going to be moderating today. I just wanted to touch base on a couple of housekeeping items. For those who haven't already
muted,
you can do that just to make sure we're not getting any sort of noise interference during the session.
Recess will be held
And
I'm sorry? And then if you have any questions, up in the right-hand corner, the upper right-hand corner in the chat box, feel free to send those our way, and we'll be recording those throughout the session. And then the presenters will leave about 15 minutes at the end for questions. So I'm going to turn things over now.
Oh, good morning, everyone. This is Deb Sachs, and with me we're experiencing technical difficulties. Just hold on, everyone. Good morning. Deb Sachs here, and thank you everyone for joining us. Just quickly to give you a little bit of an agenda and to let you know how we're going to proceed over this next hour. We'll have a little bit of a background on Way to Go and a little bit of a history. Then Mary Catherine is going to give you an orientation through the website, so we'll point you right to the website and where all the resources are, leaving adequate time at the end for questions and answers. I would encourage you to ask questions along the way, and Allegra will help us and cue us into trying to address those questions that you might have. So hopefully this will get you where you want to go. So what is Way to Go? Well, we, the Way to Go team, basically last year decided that Way to Go, which encourages everyone to travel more efficiently long term, it's really a behavior change program, and we thought it would be a great addition to add that as a component to Safe Routes to School. So that's what brought us together, and that's what this year is all about, is going after the behavior change and also making our routes safer to school. Way to Go has a long history. We really formed in the late 90s, but in 2004 it became branded as Way to Go, and it was a business-to-business peer exchange and added schools. And as you can see from this slide, we've grown tremendously with the school participation. Our goals are multi-pronged. We're hoping to get 100 schools, and I'm very proud to say that 64 have signed up and more have expressed interest. And we thank you for being the leadership to help get the word out across the state in the various pockets of Vermont that don't have school participation. So we're trying to get both urban and rural schools to improve access and to change those behaviors. So we're really encouraging a vision for planned improvements and progress along the way. And we're succeeding. Why are we doing this? Our emissions are growing, and we need to bend that curve. Transportation is the biggest nut to crack, as you all know. And as we go to statewide goals to be 90% renewable by 2050, we have a long way to go because only 5% of the fuels in transportation are green. And we're adding this in because I think from a teaching standpoint, we want those teachable moments to understand that we really have a problem and that we're not as green as we might think. About 78 cents of every dollar leaves Vermont, every fuel dollar leaves Vermont. That's about $1.5 billion leaking from our state. And so we just, stepping back, want to imagine, can we hold some of those dollars by ride sharing, by walking and biking, by improving our routes? And so imagine free transit for everyone, or how about those safe sidewalks and improvements to your school? Vermont's really, I'm very proud of Vermont. We spend about $33 million annually, among one of the highest of any rural state in the U.S., but yet still only 10% of the population participates in public transportation. This slide is basically, I think it's important to know that paired with Way to Go is Go Vermont, one of the biggest partners in supporting this program. And we have a central clearinghouse at connectingcommuters.org. And when Mary Catherine goes over some of the events that you have, that you can participate in or do, we have the tools, both at Go Vermont and at Way to Go. So we're going to encourage you to keep connectingcommuters.org in your browser and to look for ways in which you can encourage yourself, your teachers, students, faculty, staff, all to use these tools. And we can encourage you, I'll encourage you right now to actually come and email me or email Mary Catherine or others on the team to get a look-see at our newfangled tools that we have. One is called Go Green and Earn Rewards. It's a new ride platform, and it's really cool, incentivizing carpooling. So we want to populate that. So for Carpool Day, if you decide to choose that as an activity and earn points on that, just click on that and encourage everyone in the school community to sign up and start tracking your commute. This is a very kind of murky looking image here, but this is essentially when you download New Ride or download this Carpool app onto your phone, it really matches you up, and you can track what you do each day, and it actually has a great feature where it shows you how much you're actually saving, and you can earn rewards. Also on the Go Vermont website is the trip planner. It's a flexible trip planner. It's like a Travelocity, and you can put in your origin and your destination, and there will come up all of the options that are available to you from transit, and eventually it'll have carpools and van pools, taxis, and be able to get you where you need to go. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary Catherine to give you the nitty-gritty on Way to Go and the website.
Great. Hello, everybody. We are just going to go and give you an orientation on where to find things on the Way to Go website, a little bit more in-depth into what you can get for your activities and what kinds of activities might be a good fit for you. We're going to really describe the activities and kind of clarify something. So this is the homepage. You can sign up, which most of you already have done, or you can log your activity. So right here, easy little button will get you to the activities page. You see that there are 64 schools signed up, about 3,500 faculty, almost 19,000 students signed up, and a handy-dandy color-coded map that helps identify where each school is and where they are at in the points hierarchy. I'll be updating that this week. I got a few new entries, so you'll see some of these dots change color. So let's talk about where to find everything. So if you're looking for how to earn points, you can go right under how it works to how to earn points, and it'll give you a really nice overview of the point levels, 50 points, recurring events, which are 10 points each, or single events, which are 20 points each. And it gives a list of each one and a link to their activity description. Now, again, each activity is, you pick and choose. It's an a la carte menu. You decide what makes sense for you and your school to participate in. That's the points page. And we also have activities. And I'm going to go into more detail in a second, but this page is full of really important information for you to get your points. And you can pick right from these little buttons up here. And you can see as I'm hovering over them, they're turning orange. That will bring you right to the page. So say if you want to go to the Way to Go Challenge, scrolls right down there and goes to that page. Each section has a link to the log, which I will click on right here, and the event entry form will not take long to do. It's about 5 minutes, depending on how many activities you enter, and I have a drop-down menu for your school name, trying to keep it easy, and a drop-down menu of the kind of activities you can pick from, and they're all in here. All right, so that's the quick event page and activity page overview. Wanted to show you a page that a lot of people ask me about, and that would be participating schools. You want to know where you're at with points, and you want to know you've lost track of what you've already reported. So I actually have solved both those problems. So on the left-hand side of this graph is all the schools in alphabetical order. So you can just find your school and its points extremely easily. On the right-hand side is the leaderboard sorted by highest to lowest. So you can just kind of get a sense of who's leading the pack, so to speak. And you can see there are some schools that have really put a lot of effort and energy into it, and I know a couple of you are actually at this webinar right now. Hi, Alamont and Swanton. So that's a pretty neat resource. I'm glad we have it. And then right here, you can click on School Progress at a Glance, and this is alphabetized, and you can just scroll down to your school and see what your school has done. So you can say, oh, I forgot to log this thing, and then you log it and they'll update your page. You can see a lot of neat things have been happening. Some of my favorites are the walk and bike to a field trip. Marion Cross walked to the Montshire Museum of Science. Westminster Elementary School walked to the fire department to do a fire prevention day. Isle of Mont biked to an orchard to glean apples to donate to a food shelf. We'll be highlighting that later. Some really great things have happened, and this gets kids to think about the places near them that are exciting and interesting and how to walk to them. So that's pretty special. And a quick little point to the awards and prizes page. Deb will be just talking more about them in depth, but you can see right here where as you earn points, what incentives you'll earn with those points, and also what prizes you could win in this, and how for each point level you achieve, you actually get more tickets, so to speak, towards each prize. So we have some pretty neat prizes going on. All right, let's talk more in depth about the activities, because there's some really great ideas here, and I wanted to pinpoint each one. So for example, this first one, bring a bicycling presentation to your school. This is basically have someone come to your school. It could be a sheriff's department, it could be locomotion. We offer programming as well, and do a presentation to the students about bicycling. It could be bicycling safety, it could be bicycle mechanics, maintenance. We offer one of those workshops. Our workshops are free, and Here, under this, it tells you what we would like, what information we need, the content of the presentation, the organization the presenter belongs to. The second one is run a bike safety program at your school. This is generally a week-long program. Again, Locomotion offers one, and you could have your own. We bring a trailer full of bikes to your school, and you can use the bikes in your educational programming for 1 to 2 weeks. It's a great resource. We also have a general bike to school day that is traditionally on May 9th, but you can do it any time in the year that makes sense to you. Carpool day. This is encourage your students and families and staff to carpool, and you could use the New Ride app, which would get everyone connected in a much simpler way than having to do it online with a piece of paper and like a sign-up sheet and a clipboard. You could just say, hey, everybody, sign up for New Ride, start making connections with each other for carpooling. Incorporating transportation into your curriculum. This is a really exciting one. We have a really great example with the Vermont Energy Education Program. They have a sustainable transportation curriculum that you can bring to your classroom. And this is a 50-pointer. So if you do this, and then you can get even more points by adding, bringing the curriculum to more classes. So for the first class that gets this curriculum, it's 50 points. And for every additional class that gets this curriculum, it's an additional 10 points. This is a fairly high bar though, so we do want a fully thought out curriculum. So now let's talk about data collection. A lot of you have already done this, but we really are hoping to get this data from your school. We want to know how much your students have been walking as a baseline, and then at the end of the year, we're hoping to do a follow-up data collection to see if there's been any behavior change. This is year one. It's unlikely we're going to see a ton of behavior change, but we're hoping we will. So we need 2 data collections. If you do one in the fall, or I'm also going to extend this to the very beginning of the spring, to do your first data collection, and then another follow-up one right before Way to Go closes, you will get your full 50 points. 25 points for the first one, 25 points for the second one. You do not actually put it on the activity and event log. You can let me know you've done it. But what you really need to do is go to the saferoutesdata.org website and either download the PDF tally, or you can email me and I can give you an electronic version which you can send out to your teachers to do electronically, and nobody has to do any tallying. The teacher just has to ask their students how they got to school that day and how they plan to get home. But, log in on the website and all of the tallies and reports are done for you. So those are 2 options. They're pretty great. And you can just let me know if you want the electronic version, because I have to do it for you. Design your own. This is literally the sky's the limit. It's a 50-point program. If you are doing something that's not on this list and it's fantastic and you want to share your work, let us know. Give us a description. You need to tell us how long the program is, how it relates to sustainable transportation, and a description of the activities, and we will credit you with your 50 points. Park and Walk Day. This one is great for rural schools. You set the kids up to stop and park at a location nearish the school along a safe route to walk. So instead of having kids coming in through dangerous routes, you pick a spot that is safe for the kids to walk from. Everyone meets there and walks to school, which is a really nice way to solve some infrastructure safety issues. Ride the Bus Day. Do a promotion to get all the students in your school to ride the bus if your school offers busing. See how many kids you can get to ride the bus. Try to make that an exciting event, school bus riding. Recurring events, those are things like Walking Wednesdays. So every time you run your Walking Wednesday, you will get 10 points. St. Albans City School got a ton of points for that. Swanton has gotten a ton of points for their recurring events. So this is a great way to recognize your work setting up these events, and all you have to do is send me how many times you've done it. Some people have been kind enough to share their recurring event numbers, and they've been pretty stunning. School travel plan. Allegra has been in touch with a bunch of people. If you have a school travel plan, you've already gotten 50 points if it is on this list right here on the Safe Routes to School website. If it is not on the Safe Routes to School website, I obviously don't have a record of it, so you'll have to send it to me. I'll put it up here, and you'll get your credit. If you don't have a school travel plan, or if you'd like to update it, you can talk to Allegra. She sent you an email. So you can actually get an additional 20 points for updating your school travel plan. Looking at things that are outdated, new needs, because your older travel plan has goals that you might have already achieved. So now you want to achieve new goals and to stretch yourself and help make your community safer for walking and biking. Another really great thing to come from a school travel plan is a walking map, a map to use for your walking events to find safe routes that may be different from a traditional one. I know Facein actually has the kids hike up behind the school, which is a really clever solution to safe infrastructure issues.
Question, Mary Catherine, and maybe this is for Allegra as well. On the travel plans that a school might have, I mean, how many people have actually looked at their travel plan recently and seen if they've made improvements on that, and actually raising awareness by bringing it to the school board or the principal? Hey, I noticed that we had this goal noted, or improvement, striping the crosswalk or something like that. Would that count as some activity as well, or?
Yeah, it would. It would count as activity. Let us know you did it. We will definitely give you points for highlighting your school travel plan and helping move forward some of the goals. Thank you, Catherine. All right, so we have walk or bike to a field trip. There are a lot of really great local gems to walk to. I remember when I was in elementary school, our school was like less than a quarter mile from an apple orchard. So we would walk there and learn about the whole apple processing process and how to pick apples, and a really great day. We could walk another further place and go to a farmer who had horses and learn about those. So there really are a lot of resources nearby your school where kids can actually get a really important lesson that involves science or history, and they've walked to it, which is pretty fantastic. Walk to School Day, the official day is October 10th, but it can be done any time in the year if you want. Now we have the Way to Go challenge. This is another 50-point challenge. This is similar to what has been done in previous years. Basically, you set 1 to 2 weeks in the spring where you just do high-level, high-intensity encouragement to get people to use sustainable transportation, walking, biking, busing, carpooling. It's a really intense couple weeks, and we will be setting up those specific dates in the spring for you to participate in the challenge. Winter Walk to School Day. Suggested date is February 6th, but really any time in the winter that you get kids to walk to school is amazing. We will be offering additional supports for Winter Walk to School Day. Locomotion will be providing some hot cocoa or a healthy alternative to your school to help get the kids excited about walking to school in the winter. And then last but not least, this is a great way to get your coworkers involved in walking or biking. So those are the VE Path points, and they are basically, the goal here is to try to get your coworkers to use walking and biking to get from point A to point B whenever possible. And we can support this work as well. We have workshops for adults, helping adults figure out what they need to use their bicycle for transportation. Some really easy ways to say yes. Like instead of biking to work, which is really hard for some people because they live 25 miles away from work, but their town has places they could bike to, like the playground or the post office or the corner store. That's where most of the transportation bicycling makes sense. The 1 to 2 mile trip. That's a little hard to walk, but that driving is kind of wasteful to do. So if you want to get points for this, if you should encourage the wellness coordinator needs to encourage your coworkers to engage in walking and biking as transportation. Right, so that is just a brief overview of the website. I hope there were some neat ideas that were sparked for you. I'm actually going to be adding a few more events like Parking Day, which is where you take a parking spot and replace it with a mini park, and that the students or staff decorate and have fun with. It's a really kind of great illustration of how much space parking spots actually take from our public spaces. Yeah. So I'm going to hand this baton right back to Deb. And here we go.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We're back now from the interactive portion of this to a more static portion on the old-fashioned PowerPoint slides. But what I'm really excited about is really exciting and empowering you and imagining your community and your school community as being wonderful because of what you're doing already by engaging the civic engagement, the encouragement to behavior change. So it's a pride that we have in the number of schools that have participated or are participating actively now. And we're here to actually listen and hear from you on what your challenges are and the creative ways that you are making to make a difference. What does a modern transportation system look like, and how do we change those behaviors, and what's holding you back on that? So it's what do we like about mobility and identifying with the best mode that works for you. We realize that this is a challenge, but every little thing and every incremental step makes a difference, and that's getting us towards our overall goal, shared transportation. Maybe not on a motorcycle, but, making those crosswalks and such. So the state of Vermont has mini grants from VTrans that we typically give communities. And I can imagine a school community really being one of, counting and also eligible for a $500 mini grant where you're looking at both Safe Routes to Schools, Way to Go, and then Go Vermont in terms of the overall clearinghouse. We're partnering together. It's all about raising awareness. And if you have a creative way that you want to have a pop-up project or make something happen, Way to Go Vermont is an active, very supportive partner, and I'm lucky that I'm and honored to be working for Go Vermont so I can help facilitate that for you. The prizes, you can actually go to your prize points, awards, and prizes page and look to see how, as you do more things, that you'll earn credit. And a lot of this is, important, things to have to make your job easier, such as the slap bracelets and the tattoos and things like that. We're working towards big change to happen, and this is why Way to Go exists, is to incrementally make those steps, which helps our transportation be safer, more connected, and we're honoring a lucky school at the end of the year. So make sure you get yourselves in on earning enough points. It looks as though many of you are well on your way and will be there to be eligible and in the raffle. And so the more credits you earn, the more you'll be able to be eligible for the solar sunflower. And by the way, this is a brand new product. I think the winning school will be the first to get a solar sunflower in anywhere, in the state of Vermont and anywhere. So, and I know that All Earth Renewables is very committed to this, and if a school is interested in going solar prior to winning something like this, that they would be happy to talk to you. So those action ideas, we're learning a lot, and Mary Catherine's going to give you a little tour of some of the showcase items, which I'll leave to her. But Middlebury's model is to maintain a listserv. They've got about 100 people on this listserv. And long and short of it is they're communicating their weekly, monthly activities, walk to school days, their pop-up projects, their improvements, their bike workshops. And this again is in partnership with many of our partners, Local Motion, the local bike walk councils. And so know that there's a whole community out there that we can put you in touch with. We're very connected and we know what's going on, and we need your help in actually understanding what problems you need addressed. So keep that vision in front of you, and as one activity, develop a safe walking map, route map, and put that up publicly in the school. A lot of the plans contain those already, and have advice on the rules to the road and biking on the road and the safety needed around all of that. So we have a few examples here, and I'm going to toss it back to Mary Catherine because she made this wonderful slide of all of these images.
Great. So I mentioned briefly both of these, but these are some really great things that are happening at the schools. And because these folks made photos available to me, I'm able to post them on our Facebook page. So Lamont had this great idea of gleaning apples at a local orchard to donate to a food shelf. They over 650 pounds of apples donated to a food shelf, and the kids biked there. You can actually see some bikes in the background of the first photo. Facein has an annual hike and bike to school day, so they actually go back behind the school and hike to the school. There's a little trail with signs and placards there. I also wanted to highlight the very Vermont project in Shelburne, the La Platte River crossing. So there's students of the school are separated by a river. So the kids on one side of the river have some pretty safe infrastructure for going to school, but on the other side of the river, it's actually pretty scary. They have to go down Falls Road, and it's really fast, a lot of traffic, and it's not a fun walk. So they found this back way through the woods, and they discovered this fallen log, and they started crossing on the log, and then they added a railing to the log, and then
Thankfully,
yes. And then, every so often the log would get washed away. They have, I think, 4 separate iterations of the log bridge, and in between, they would occasionally use an inner tube to float kids across the river.
well, that's a great way, swimming and...
Yes, it was a very active commute. So they actually built a temporary bridge, but it wasn't engineered safely. So the town asked them to make an engineered, fully safe bridge, and the La Platte group did, and they got an engineer, they've got the materials together, and it's opening this Sunday for people to cross on. The volunteers put it all together. So this is a pretty
big project. But they started small. I mean, inner tubes and a log.
Exactly. So there's some pretty neat stuff going. It's the laplatecrossing.blogspot.com if you are interested in participating in there. It's open to everybody, and I think it's pretty fantastic thing. And I think we just have a couple.
Yeah, I think that, another large effort took, a village to do this, but in South Burlington, the city voters, and with the help of Bike Walk and the Energy Committee and Local Motion, passed a penny for paths so that they closed the gaps for their safe routes into school and around town, actually, around the city. So that not only allows them to improve and make connections to 24 miles of their pathway, they actually also had a second part to that article where they could borrow against that growing proceeds pot over the 10 years. They didn't need to wait. They can borrow against it and make those improvements happen before 10 years is out. So it's a significant chunk of change, $3 million, and this is where we need to see our taxpayer dollars going towards. Van pooling is one thing that Go Vermont gets behind, and this is not to a school, it's an actual business, Ethan Allen Furniture in Orleans, where these 5 commuters came together 5 years ago. And I'm showing this to you because it just is meaningful when we carpool and we van pool together. These 5 folks have saved 602,000 miles of commuting and $88,000. So each have saved $17,000 in fuel alone, 71,000 gallons of gas. And it's really something to think about. So if you have, I know a lot of teachers from Swanton would like to travel together, and just know that we subsidize and have a partnership with Enterprise, Commute with Enterprise. And we offer you the vehicle, the keys, the insurance, and everything. You just identify a driver or backup driver, and we get you going. So that's available.
That's a pretty neat deal.
Yeah, $700 a month we subsidize. The state of Vermont subsidizes for every van pool on the road. So I'd like to see many, many more van pools go, and we'd actually like to, unfortunately, the federal definition for a commute vehicle or a mass transit vehicle is 7 seats, and that's something that we need policymakers to address so that we could actually change that law and have Priuses carrying 4 people. Wouldn't that be something in Vermont? Okay.
All right, I think that's it. I think it's time for questions.
Facebook page, maybe?
Oh, we brought us to that.
You brought
But
it.
I'll just quickly show you. So that if you want to kind of see the great things that are happening, we have,
Or post things that are happening.
or
please.
post things, please post. We'd love that. But you can see, for example, St. Albans City School has up to over 200 person walk to school participation rate. They do kind of Walking Wednesday, and that's huge. That's an amazing thing. We have Bristol doing their walk to school day, having music and all kinds of fun things. Cones set up on the side of the road, police escorts, really getting that moving. So this is a great place for you to share your successes.
Like it from your school, or
Exactly. Cute little stories about a kid who should have put his pants on while walking to school instead of shorts.
who needs clothes?
So we have just a bunch of great things happening. So if you have any questions, we are here to answer them for you. And Allegra, do we have any yet? No. All right. We'll give you a few more minutes for questions to pop up. Otherwise, we will release it early. Always a bonus.
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
So, about some examples you could share the Design Your Own challenge.
Perhaps
Oh, that's a great one. So, some Design Your Own challenge activities have been, for example, Christ the King School in Rutland worked with Local Motion on our pop-up infrastructure program, which we basically helped them design their own temporary crosswalk near their school to solve some issues they had with conflicts between cars and children going to school, which is pretty incredible. Laura Sarmalee's work in Middlebury, where she worked with Idle Free Vermont to promote, to keep people from idling at the school. So she has a table set up, really pushing families to engage in sustainable transportation. So she has this big effort that she's been coordinating just in a bunch of different ways to get people to choose sustainable transportation. That's a design your own program. There's a lot of possibilities and opportunities here. Go crazy. We really want to see some of your great ideas. And if you want to try out infrastructure at your school to solve a problem, just let Allegra know, allegra@locomotion.org, and she might be able to work something out with you, like a temporary crosswalk, something like that, to solve an infrastructure issue, to test something out and see if it works with your community. It's a really nice way to try something without investing hundreds or tens of thousands of dollars on a project.
Great.
Yeah.
And then also wondering about the mini grants. Deb, if you had any specific examples or stories to share.
Well, so far, mini grants have been going to energy committees where they've been popping up with their community fairs, energy fairs, and other things where they want to show resource guides or help people get to know give them a tour of the Go Vermont website. And that is something that we could do separately if there is interest by the school to actually understand this broader array of options, from getting the megabus. Your brother or sister or your son or daughter need to get from college and using the megabus, or to how to use Amtrak, or how about partnering up? The Upper Valley is on the phone or on the webinar here. Upper Valley TMA works actively with their communities. A TMA is a Transportation Management Association. So there's a lot of layers and partners that are there working to break down the barriers to riding the bus. And, suppose you want to have awareness with the school board or your principal or your PTO. There's certainly very good ways that we could actually get those dollars into the hands of, say, the PTO or PTA, who want to then help with the transportation within the community. So I'm here to all ears, and I think anything's possible. Just simply write a small letter to me or to Ross McDonald, the public transit coordinator at VTrans, and or you guys, and you'll get it to the appropriate people. And it is a reimbursable program, so you've got to come up with somehow that money ahead of time, or be reimbursed afterwards.
Excellent. And I do want to put in another plug for New Ride. It is a really exciting application. You can earn rewards while engaging in sustainable transportation work. So, for example, they're raffling off a $50 Amazon gift card, and what you do is you earn points by participating by walking, biking, busing, carpooling, telecommuting, and then you can expend those points to get discounts at local shops or to win prizes in the raffle. It's pretty neat. There's a real direct relationship between your behavior, your sustainable transportation behavior, and saving money and maybe going out to dinner with a friend and saving a little money on that.
And to pick up Mary Catherine on that, New Ride, it's not going to be branded as New Ride, it's branded as Vermont's ride-sharing tool, but that it has this whole platform for this, and I would think that a mini grant of $500 to promote everybody to sign up, parents, teachers, faculty, staff, and kids that actually are in the, driving. We want them to not drive. We want them to carpool if they're driving. anybody to drive. So to put more people in that vehicle, you reduce your commute cost in half by carpooling. And then the benefit is adding 3 or 4, so you not only get credits through the Way to Go program, but you can get cash and also help people save cash. And so, yeah, we'd love to see promotion of the car share matching program.
Excellent. And also, you can find it. Just go to the App Store and go to the Go Vermont app. That's all you have to look for. It's super easy to find. And I'm realizing that some folks are on the phone. So if you want to send me an email if you have a question, that would be education@locomotion.org, and I'll do some refreshing of my screen for the next few minutes. But Allegra, are there any more questions? All right, so I'm going to refresh a few more times and just basically say thank you to all of you.
Do you want to advertise upcoming ones for them to pass the word? And
Yes. So we are doing a Safe Routes to School travel plan, a school travel plan webinar in December. So you can kind of get a sense of the support Allegra and Locomotion and Way to Go can offer you in updating your school travel plan, developing a new one, whatever. Just, if you're curious and you just want to learn more about what we can offer to support you, and actually I'll let Allegra talk about that.
So on December 4th and December 6th, you might have gotten the email that Mary Catherine sent out. We'll be holding the 2 webinars on school, I believe noon to 1 on December 4th, and then 3 to 4 on the 6th. And I'm happy to speak with anyone in between now and then if you wanted to set up a time to chat with me.
Perfect. All right. It looks like we don't have any emails coming in, so we will release you. Thank you all so much for coming, and
let us know how we can improve on this too, and what we didn't answer.
yes. So if we didn't answer any questions and you'd rather just talk to me personally or to Deb, you can send an email to info@waytogovt.org, or you can send an email to me and I'll answer the question. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.